What is it like living with schizophrenia?
That's kind of a hard question to articulate, but I think basically it's a lot like really anybody else living their life, with the exception that my brain sometimes feels like it's on overdrive, or sometimes it feels like it's on like low power. So what I mean by that is that sometimes my thoughts are racing or get jumbled up, or I have that disorganized thought processes, which can make it hard to communicate the way I want to with people and with the world around me. I also experience some hallucinations and delusions, which make it hard to fully engage the way I'd like to with the world around me and with other people. Paranoia also plays a role in that, but I think the main things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis are more the negative symptoms. So decreased energy, decreased motivation, more of a blunted affect sort of thing, and those are kind of the things that I deal with more on a day-to-day basis. And I think that those are kind of hard for other people to recognize or to notice. So from the outside, it doesn't really look that different. And from the inside, I don't know, I feel like I'm living my life pretty normally as well, just with some added difficulties or obstacles, I guess, that I have to face on a day-to-day basis.
What would you tell someone who is struggling with symptoms and they're not really sure what's going on right now?
What would I tell them? I would tell them that I've been there too, and I know how scary and alone you can feel when you're going through that and you're kind of experiencing these symptoms that you don't really understand, and they're not really within the norm of what people typically experience. So what I would say to someone who's experiencing something like that is to just be really open with your medical professionals, so your doctor, a psychiatrist if you're connected with one, or a therapist, about what it is that you're going through, and just try to have as open of communication as possible around that in order to hopefully work toward getting a diagnosis that feels good to you and that makes things make a little bit more sense.
What's the thing that scared you the most when you were first diagnosed?
I think what scared me the most when I was first diagnosed was just my perceived notions around schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder. I had a lot of messages in my head already about what living with an illness like that means, and what that would mean for my future, and what that would mean for my ability to function normally and independently and all that kind of things. And so I think I was most scared because of the messages that I had received from society about what it means to live with an illness like schizophrenia.
Are you afraid of things getting worse?
I get worried a lot that my symptoms are going to keep getting more frequent and more just worse, I guess. And so I think it's really important to remember to keep taking my medication in order to keep staying as well as possible and working on staying as well as possible in different ways, because the more psychotic episodes somebody has, the worse their symptoms get. And so keeping that in mind in terms of just staying as stable as possible in order to better my chances going forward. And I did just learn recently too that the prognosis of schizophrenia gets better as you age, so that is kind of reassuring. But yeah, no, I do still worry about my symptoms getting progressively worse.
What would you tell someone who feels like they're questioning whether or not they should take their medication?
I would start off by saying I'm right there with you. That's something that I really do struggle with quite a bit, and so I understand why others might be struggling with that as well. What I would tell them is that I mean, I think it's different for each individual, but for me, my own track record indicates that taking medication allows me to be in a place where I'm stable enough to work on living life in the way that I want to live it and work on living life to the fullest. And it allows me just that baseline stability to do that. And so looking at that as a track record, and also looking at my track record of stopping medication leading to things getting really bad and leading to hospitalization or leading to worse things than hospitalization. So just really remembering that they do have a positive effect on my health and my well-being. And so to keep taking them is to keep working on myself and keep putting myself first and putting my wellness first.
What would you tell someone who is struggling with this illness and feels alone right now?
I would tell them that you're not alone. There are other people who are going through really similar things to you and who are probably feeling similarly as well in terms of feeling alone. And so I think it's important to build a community for yourself, to reach out to people who might be going through similar experiences as you, whether that's finding a support group or finding some sort of online community or anything really. And beyond that, just making sure you have a really good, solid support network of just people in general. So being vulnerable with those people as well really helps to feel less alone. The more open I am with my friends and family about my struggles and about the things I experience as a result of my illness, the closer we get and the less alone I feel. So I think that making sure you build your own support network is really, really important. But I just want to let you know that you are not alone. There are other people who know what you're going through, and they are going through similar things. So you are not alone in your struggle.